Hey everyone, Shabba Gamer here, and welcome back to the WWE 2K15 Universe Mode, and this, which is night number 2 of the Ring of Honor's DDT4 tournament. Now tonight we have the second 4 first round matches for you, and here they are. We're going to start off with the Lucha Dragons, Mistico and Kalisto taking on reDragon, Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish. We're going to have a debut in the second match as Fenix teams up with Pentagon to take on the Combat Zone Wrestling Tag Team Champions Drake Younger and Solomon Crowe. The newly crowned Ring of Honor Television Champion Davey Richards teams up with Eddie Edwards to take on the Forever Hooligans Alexander Koslov and Rocky Romero. And then in our final first round match, Mark and Jay Briscoe, the Briscoe brothers, will defend their Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships as they take on The Addiction, Daniels and Kazerian. We'll also see tonight Tommasso Ciampa take on Roderick Strong. We're going to see a new stable here, suggested by Jay in the comments a couple of weeks back, the House of Truth. It's going to be Jay Lethal, Brian Cage and Michael Elgin, and they're going to take on CNC Wrestle Factory, Cedric Alexander, Caprice Coleman and ACH. And our main event this evening, as promised yesterday, Samoa Joe will defend his Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship against Alberto Del Rio. So without further ado, let's get straight into our first round match of the evening. And here we go with our first match of the evening. reDragon, Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish against the Lucha Dragons. That's Kalisto in the ring and Mistico on the outside. And again, just as I mentioned yesterday, we are using a Pro Wrestling Guerrilla Arena. This is a Ring of Honor pay-per-view, but the concept of this pay-per-view is a Pro Wrestling Guerrilla one. So to give them a little bit of a thumbs up for it, we are using their arena. Of course, I think this is actually an older version. I'm pretty sure the logo now is black and white rather than black and green, but either way, it's still pretty cool to have that here. Just going to give you a quick recap on what happened last night. However, before I do that, if you've not seen yesterday's episode, you can go to the description below and there will be a link to the playlist. If you click on that, you should be able to see the last video and obviously this one as well. So before I give out any spoilers, you can go and do that now. If not, then yesterday we saw the Unbreakable Machines defeat CNC Wrestle Factory. Kingdom defeated Jado and Jido. The Killer Elite Squad beat Gargano and Taylor. And the South African Pride defeated the Young Bucks. All 4 of those teams are going through to the second round matches tomorrow night. And we will find out tonight who they will be joined with. Of course, Kyle O'Reilly had a singles match last night as well. He faced off against Alberto Del Rio. Del Rio won that match and is now facing Samoa Joe this evening for the Ring of Honor Championship. We also saw Matt Sydal defeat ACH in a best 2 out of 3 falls match. And of course, we had that 6-man Elimination Chamber match for the Ring of Honor Television Championship, as suggested by Jay in the comment section below. And on that one, Davey Richards won the Ring of Honor Television Championship. So it could be a great week in this for Davey Richards. Of course, won the Television Championship and in the DDT4 tournament as well. Of course, tonight as well, we will see the Briscoes defend their Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships in their first round match against The Addiction. As I've mentioned before, the belts are on the line in every single match the champions are in. So if the Briscoes win tonight, they will have to defend the belts again tomorrow night. If The Addiction win tonight, they will have to defend the belts tomorrow night as well. So it's a great situation for the American Wolves or Forever Hooligans, because they know whoever wins that match tonight is guaranteed a championship shot for them tag team belts tomorrow. But back to what's happening in the ring here. We have Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish, reDragon, one of my favourites for the competition. A team that I really hope does well. They've not been as good as I'd hoped so far in this universe mode as a team. They had some opportunities at the Kings of Wrestling for the Tag Team Championships. Never quite managed to pull it off though. It was finally the Briscoes that actually won them belts. And now this is a great opportunity for reDragon this weekend to... Oh, great super butterfly suplex there by Kyle O'Reilly. It's a great opportunity this for a team like reDragon to really come to the forefront, because we know whoever wins this DDT4 tournament is guaranteed to be the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions. Great kick to the back of the head there by Kyle O'Reilly. catches the leg of Mistico, but great work there from Mistico to use that to his advantage. And same there for Kyle O'Reilly, showing it's not Mistico who can play them sort of games. Big uppercut to the back of the head by Kyle O'Reilly. And my phone's on loud. That's not very good, is it? Let's turn that down. How do I turn it down? I pressed the wrong button. It's got louder again. Oh, there we go. I think that's on quiet now. Is that on quiet? Sorry, I'm just a little bit distracted. I'll get that sorted now. Right, I'm back with you. Oh, bloody hell. So I'm just checking the football scores while I'm at it. And we have Bobby Fish and Kalisto into the ring now. And Kalisto's one of these guys that next year I obviously won't have to create because he's going to be on the game, which is fantastic. As well as Mistico as well, or Sin Cara, of course. I think I probably will be creating Mr. C's, who is, well, it's basically Mistico anyway. Mr. C's is obviously Sin Cara, the real Sin Cara, left WWE about a year and a half ago now, and got replaced by Hunico. And Mr. C's has gone back to AAA, working with the same attire more or less anyway. So we might have him in the Global Force Wrestling roster. Back elbow by Kalisto. And of course, remember in our next match we have a debut, the debut of Fenix. It's going to be teaming with Pentagon Jr. to take on the current Combat Zone Wrestling Tag Team Champions, Drake Younger and Sami Callihan. And Drake has really been on a rich vein of form the last couple of months. Not only did he win the Best of the Super Juniors tournament over in Global Force Wrestling, he then went on to, at the Best of the Best pay-per-view about 3 or 4 weeks ago, win the Combat Zone Wrestling Tag Team Championships alongside Sami Callihan, as well as the Global Force Wrestling Junior Heavyweight Championship as well. So it's been a fantastic few weeks for Drake Younger, and he'll be hoping to continue that run of form this weekend. Sin Cara, no, Mistico. Mistico there have a couple of standing moonsaults, but O'Reilly's back to his feet and gets caught with that hip toss. Went for the springboard. O'Reilly ducks underneath. O'Reilly went for the big boot, but Mistico catches him with a drop toe hold. And just a big punt to the stomach there by Kyle O'Reilly. Of course, O'Reilly will be looking to get back into winning ways after losing last night to Del Rio. He'll be hoping to get himself back on winning ways here this evening. Great running Meteora. And now just a punt to the back as well. I'll have to try and learn for 2K16 how to make these arenas myself, because I'm very much depending on the community creations on this universe mode. I'm not going to lie, I've downloaded every single wrestler, downloaded every single arena. All I'm essentially doing is just recording it, commentating on it, and setting it all up, basically. That's all I'm doing. So it'd be nice, though, because I've been looking to get a Pro Wrestling Guerrilla arena since the game first came out, and it was only a couple of days ago when I searched getting ready for this pay-per-view that I finally found one. So it'd be nice to potentially be able to make stuff. I know you can import logos, and if I can figure out how to do that, then the arenas are pretty simple to make, really. Use the correct arena, it's just having the correct logos in the game to do so. And if you have the correct logos, it becomes a lot easier setting up your universe mode as well. At least I can start importing the logos for the pay-per-views as well, rather than just using the Ring of Honor logo and stuff like that. Bobby Fish fails on the hot tag. But he gets Kalisto up. Kyle O'Reilly takes Mistico off the apron. There's the brainbuster. Could this be all here? Could reDragon be going through? 1, 2. No, Mistico's in quickly enough and breaks the pin. Kyle O'Reilly didn't do a good enough job blocking him off. But Bobby Fish back in control. And as I say that, Kalisto catches him there with the Russian leg sweep. And of course, Kalisto was in the indie scene, worked a few matches for Pro Wrestling Guerrilla before getting signed up as Samurai Del Sol. So he's another one we may, I don't know, I was going to say we may use him in Global Force Wrestling as Samurai Del Sol, but considering how many guys I've already got on my list to download, I'm not sure we can Not sure we can have another one as well. I think my list is up to about 130 now, and obviously we only get 100 calls for next year, so it's going to be a case of switching and changing as and when we need them. Quick roll up here by Bobby Fish. 1, and Sin Cara breaks the pin. And that's the best thing about these tag matches, is that when they have these endless pinning combinations, at least their partners break up the pins, which is handy. Russian leg sweep there by Bobby Fish with a little camp sort of gymnastic style celebration at the end, but it was effective either way. Mistico and O'Reilly straight into the match. Mistico reverses O'Reilly's suplex into a neckbreaker. And now Mistico's setting up for something here. Kalisto's in, takes Bobby Fish off the apron, but Kyle O'Reilly avoids whatever it is Mistico is going for. Maybe not. There's the tornado, heads us into the armbar. And Kyle O'Reilly is close enough to the ropes to break the pin. Break the submission hold, shall I say. Boots the stomach by Mistico. Done some damage to the arm either way. May not be as much as he was hoping to, but effective nonetheless. Knee to the stomach there by Kyle O'Reilly. The two guys run into each other. Now Kalisto tries to make the hot tag. Kalisto's literally just come into the match. Oh, Mistico takes on the first man. And can't get the second. Bobby Fish there just pulling the head and the face of Mistico over that top rope. Super kick to the stomach there by O'Reilly, followed up by the boot to the head. And now neck breaker, no, elbow to the back of the head by Kyle O'Reilly. Move used incredibly effectively by Chris Hero. O'Reilly with a pin, 1, 2. Only a 2 count, not sure Kalisto would have made it there in time. O'Reilly now just repeated kicks to the face. A back elbow on Bobby Fish. Over the top rope he goes. Great move there, over the top into a crossbody. And there, I'm pretty sure that's the natural selection, Charlotte's finishing maneuver, but it's enough time for him to get across and bring in Kalisto. Maybe he should have gone for the pin. O'Reilly was down for a good few seconds there. Drop kick to the knee by Kalisto. Rolling Kyle O'Reilly over. 1, 2. No, only a 1 count. Kyle O'Reilly kicks out. Hip toss there by Kalisto. And we've got a replay here now. As Bobby Fish takes out Mistico. There's the dragon screw. Now Mistico just taking Bobby Fish off the apron. Looks like Kalisto was going to try and go for some sort of submission move there. A big boot to the side of the face by Kyle O'Reilly into the pin. Oh, so close to a 3 count. Mistico was out of that. O'Reilly throwing Mistico into the corner. Running Meteora just as Kalisto. Just as Kalisto comes out the corner, gets hit with the running Meteora, but he flips up back up to his feet. Bobby Fish has entered this match. And a big, big knee to the face by Fish. Into the pin. 1, 2. Only a 2 count. I think Mistico is there to break it. And there's a big kick to the side of the head there by Bobby Fish. It's taking Kalisto down. Is he out though? 1, 2. No, only a 2 count again. Kalisto with that drop toe hold. Bobby Fish face hits the mat hard. Kalisto now going for a pin from a drop toe hold. Only a 2 count. I say only a 2 count. From a drop toe hold of 2 counts, pretty impressive. Pin of his own now for Bobby Fish. You can't help but think the end of this match is close. A lot of pinning opportunities, all for 2 counts as well. Drop kick by Bobby Fish. Thinking about bringing Kyle O'Reilly into the ring there, I think. And now Fish has Kalisto up into the armbar. Kyle O'Reilly takes Mistico off the apron. Can Kalisto survive this armbar? He does. And I've already made my my opinions felt yesterday, I think, with submissions and finishing maneuvers. For me, I think that submission should have finished that match. A much weakened Kalisto. 1, 2. I'm not sure. No, this match is not finished. Mistico broke the pin. He got a bit of the referee as well, though. Kyle O'Reilly breaking that submission hold. Needs the stomach by Bobby Fish and then followed up by clothesline. He brings in Kyle O'Reilly. What's O'Reilly got in his locker? Oh, Kalisto slips away and across the ring. Went to make the tag to Mistico, but Kyle O'Reilly follows him up. And finally, Kalisto makes the tag. Quick roll up by O'Reilly. 2, 3, and that's enough. The quick roll up was enough to put reDragon through. In the battle of the dragons, it's the red one that wins. The Luchas are out. It was a very close match. Both teams had their opportunities to win this one, but eventually it's reDragon that come out on top with that quick roll up by O'Reilly. Kalisto just did not make it there in time. And here's that armbar from Bobby Fish on Kalisto. And there it was. No, that was the 2 count earlier on. That was very close. That was. And as soon as Mistico comes in, see O'Reilly catches him there with a quick roll up, and that is enough. And we know now that Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish are guaranteed a tag team championship shot tomorrow night. Will it be the Briscoe brothers? No, they're not. I'm talking complete and utter crap, aren't I? reDragon are going on tomorrow to face the winners of Drake Younger, Sami Callihan, and of course the new team of Fenix and Pentagon Jr. I'm going to write down on my piece of paper before I forget. And here we go, match number 2. We now know the winner of this will go on to face reDragon, as we've just seen. Debut here of Fenix. He's teaming up with Pentagon Jr. Not a very likely team, but I think the two styles work very, very well together. Of course, taking on Sami Callihan and the informed man, Drake Younger. These two are the current Combat Zone Wrestling Tag Team Champions, but I'm sure Fenix and Pentagon Jr. will be not phased by that at all. Even though they are a brand new team, first time the team together in my universe mode, and of course Fenix's debut, so it's going to be the first time the team together. But I wouldn't put it completely past them here. Drake Young with a neck breaker on Fenix, and I think this is a really good call, this one of Fenix. Although he reminds me a little bit of a Shark Boy with that fin on the top. But yeah, I think it's a really good one, this is actually. It's one of the better ones I think I've got. I was surprised, I was looking through and I wanted to get Drago as well, but the some of the calls for Drago weren't very good. So I've stuck with just Fenix. And of course we've got Pentagon Jr., who I actually really like. He's a bit of a funny one, Pentagon Jr. He's one of those guys that they pushed him in Lucha Underground as a mega heel, yet the fans absolutely love him, and I really like him as well. I think he's a great wrestler. As now here we see Drake Younger and Pentagon both make their way into the ring. Pentagon there with the hip toss on Drake Younger. Of course, Pentagon and Sami Callihan were both part of the Best of the Super Juniors tournament, the one that Drake Younger went on to eventually win, and Sami Callihan just gets mowed down with that big shoulder block there by Pentagon. And yeah, it was Drake Younger who finally came out on top, and it's a very impressive victory because it was a 32-man knockout tournament. What a great move that was by Pentagon, almost like a senton into a head scissors. And this makeshift team of Pentagon and Fenix working together very well here. A Russian leg sweep by Fenix. And what's he going to go for here? Springboard shooting... So springboard... Rewind. Springboard frog splash crossbody almost. I saw his legs and arms going for a frog splash, but it was a crossbody. Callihan catches the legs of Pentagon, but Pentagon ducks the clothesline and catches Sami Callihan with a bulldog in for the pin. 1, 2, a 2 count. And of course, I've mentioned PWG a few times now on my universe mode, but they've recently done their Battle of Los Angeles tournament, and for some debuts of their own, they brought in Pentagon Jr., Drago, Aerostar. They brought in Fenix as well. They had Jack Evans and Helico. They brought in a chunk of the Lucha Underground guys, as well as obviously Brian Cage, who normally works there anyway. And I really want to see that. It looks like such a fantastic show. Exploder into the corner there by by Drake Younger. Yeah, it looked like a fantastic show. There's some great wrestlers there, including obviously Chris Hero, Zack Sabre Jr., Tommy End. Timothy Thatcher made his debut. It wasn't his debut, I think it was his second show actually. He faced off against Biff Busick in what looked to be a brutally stiff match. So yeah, there's a lot of fantastic matches, and that's a 3-day pay-per-view as well. So I'm really looking forward to getting a chance to watch that when it finally comes out on DVD. Drake Younger there with a boot to the chest of Pentagon Jr. brings him back up to his feet. And there's the neck breaker. Shoulder block there by Pentagon Jr. And yeah, as I said, this team of Pentagon Jr. and Fenix are doing very well here. I think they're actually in control of this match, and they have been for the majority of it. Don't get me wrong, Drake and Sami have had their... Oh, great spiked DDT there by Fenix. And as I said, I think this Mexican team here are doing very, very well. It's an odd team, as we mentioned. One Technico, one Rudo, and of course, Technicos in Mexican wrestling is basically their faces, and the Rudos are the heels. Fenix gets from the back with a elbow to the face and a jawbreaker by Drake Younger. Nothing pretty, just sheer effective. And again, just a big boot to the chest of Fenix. Drake brings Fenix back up to his feet, a boot to the lower stomach, and then a beautiful dropkick. You see how high Fenix was off the ground. The feet perfectly met the face of Drake Younger, and Pentagon comes in with another one of them shoulder tackles, and now a springboard. Went for the senton again, but Drake saw it coming. And Drake is loving this boot to the chest, boot to the stomach sort of a combo he's been going for. That's like 4 times he's hit it in this match now. Going for a pin. 1. Only a 1 count. And now Drake with the Shining Wizard. See, Sami Callihan likes that one. Now Drake just dropping his body weight on the arm of Pentagon. And another big strike to the chest. I say Drake's loving that move. It's Kick Chest City here tonight. Pentagon caught in 2 minds. Finally makes the decision to make the tag into Fenix. And Fenix with that running dropkick. And Fenix having a very impressive debut here this evening. And he'll be hoping this is not the end of his weekend. Head scissors into the pin. Oh, couldn't pick up the victory there. Fenix almost stealing one. I wouldn't say stealing one. They've dominated most of the match, but out of nowhere, nearly winning the match. That leg drop is useless. I've seen loads of people in the Universe mode use that leg drop, that spinning leg drop, and nobody seems to actually hit the person they're aiming for. Russian leg sweep by Fenix. Throwing Drake into the corner. Spins him round, and what's Fenix got planned here? Oh, just throws Drake shoulder first into the ring post. And now using the ropes to his advantage. Getting momentum behind him for that dropkick. Throws him back into the corner. What's he got planned here? Again, turns him round. Look who's going to go for the same thing again, but Drake fights out with a couple of back elbows. And now he has him up. Great move there, almost like a Michinoku drive up to one side. Drake pulls Fenix into the middle of the ring. Callihan takes Pentagon off the apron. Could this be all one? No, only a 1 count. Fenix kicks out. The extra time that Drake took bringing Fenix away from the ropes was enough time for Fenix to recuperate. Fenix avoids the running dropkick from Drake Younger. And now Drake with that combination style move, Olympic slam / Death Valley driver in for the pin. And that is all. Drake Younger and Sami Callihan are going on to the second round to face reDragon. There's a hip toss. We always get a hip toss on these replays. Pin there by Pentagon Jr. only for the 2 count. There's that spinning leg kick, leg drop. God, these replays are crap, aren't they? And that's the move that finished the match off. See Sami there taking Pentagon off the apron. And it was a great debut for Fenix. He really showed a lot of skill here this evening. However, it wasn't enough to come out on top of the Combat Zone Wrestling Tag Team Champions Sami Callihan and Drake Younger. It's going to be a very interesting match tomorrow night. reDragon, one of the favourites for this competition, taking on the Combat Zone Wrestling Tag Team Champions and probably the man that's in the best form in this universe mode, Drake Younger. And here we go. Our third first round match of the evening in this DDT4 tournament. And this is a very, very important one for both teams involved, because they know whoever wins this match is going to get an opportunity at the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships tomorrow night against the winners of the next match, either the Briscoe brothers, the current champions, or the Addiction, Kazerian and Daniels. And of course, Davey Richards will be hoping to be in that situation, considering he won the Ring of Honor Television Championship yesterday. He'll be desperate to try and follow that up, continue the momentum he built last night, and maybe even become a double champion. Did the same as what Drake Young did a few weeks ago at the Best of the Best pay-per-view. Come out with the Upper Mid-Card Championship and the Tag Team Championships. But of course, the Forever Hooligans representing Global Force Wrestling here are no pushovers at all. It's interesting, we seem to have more Global Force Wrestling tag teams in the second round than we do Ring of Honor so far. We've got the Unbreakable Machines, the Killer Elite Squad, and the South African Pride. 3 Global Force Wrestling teams. We've got Sami and Drake, of course, Combat Zone Wrestling, and then we have Kingdom and reDragon. So we've got 2 Ring of Honor, 3 Global Force, and 1 Combat Zone Wrestling at the moment. Of course, we know in the next match we're guaranteed a Ring of Honor team to go through. So should the American Wolves win here, then the Ring of Honor teams will finally be the majority. Great Frankensteiner there by Eddie Edwards. And of course, it was last night at the first night of the DDT4 when we had the Elimination Chamber match for the Ring of Honor Television Championship. The last 2 guys in that Elimination Chamber was Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards. So we knew at that point that one of these 2 guys was going to be entering this match with the Television Championship. They worked well together to eliminate some of the other guys in the match. Because there were some big guys in that night. I was expecting someone like Adam Cole or Roderick Strong to walk out of there, and even Austin Aries is a great. I'm saying that all 6 guys in that match were fantastic wrestlers, so I'm not surprised. Well, it's a tricky situation because they're all fantastic. They all could have won easily, but I just assumed somebody like Adam Cole or Roderick Strong were probably the favourites. Or Jay Lethal, considering Jay Lethal got entered as number 6, the defending champion. Great butterfly suplex there by Eddie Edwards on Rocky Romero. Eddie tried to follow it up with that springboard splash, but misses, and then Rocky Romero's back up to his feet and just attacks the arm of Eddie Edwards. There's the Dragon Screw as well. And remember, as I've mentioned, the Tag Team Championships is going to be defended in every single round, so one of these 2 teams is going to get an opportunity in the next round for the Tag Team Championships. However, they will have to then defend that in the semi-finals on the last night. And then should they win that, they'll have to defend them again in the finals. And of course, we have some fantastic teams in this competition. It's going to be an incredible feat for whoever walks out of this competition with the belts. And of course, we will find that out on Sunday. Romero looked like he was going to go for the tag, but he catches Davey Richards with that backdrop. I thought he might be going for a bridge and a pin at the end, but releases. Davey Richards there caught now by Alexander Koslov on the outside. And it's actually Koslov is actually retired now in real life. Rocky Romero started teaming with Trent. And I think the team's called Ropagoni Vice. I might be wrong. Ropagoni Vice, something like that. So we'll have to take that into account next year. I don't know. I don't know whether I might keep Trent alongside Chuck Taylor and then just keep their Forever Hooligans the way they are. Johnny Gargano, I think, is going to end up joining my NXT roster at some point, because that's it's only a matter of time before that signing is confirmed by WWE in real life. Of Gargano, I've already got Biff Busick and Rich Swann lined up to go into NXT. I've got Uhaa Nation, of course, Apollo Crews set to download as well, and of course Samoa Joe as well, just to try and add some more names, because the NXT roster, it's good, but it's not very in depth. The ones they're giving you base wise. I think I've made it about 25 names. About 25 names, but that includes people like Natalia, Paige, Summer Rae, Connor and Victor, Cesaro, Tyson Kidd, Zack Ryder, Neville, Owens, Heath Slater, Bo Dallas, Sin Cara, Kalisto. I'm running a lot of people in 2 rosters at the same time, just to try and bolster up the numbers in that roster. Of course, I've got guys like Solomon Crowe, and I'm going to put Drake Younger in to my NXT roster as a wrestler. Of course, he's currently in there at the moment as a referee, as Drake was or something like that. I don't know. I can't pronounce his surname. So yeah, we're going to put him in there as a wrestler. And after seeing the how well him and Sami tag, I think him and Solomon Crowe for my NXT roster next year might be a pretty good tag team. I'm also going to bring in Paul London and Brian Kendrick. Of course, Kendrick has worked NXT shows in the past and is currently doing a lot of training as well. So I thought if I bring in Paul London and Kendrick, I've got an extra tag team. But not only that, it's a tag team that can work multiple rosters, as Eddie Edwards with a quick roll-up. Yeah, thinking Kendrick and London can work NXT, Ring of Honor, Global Force, and the Attitude Era as well. So that'd be a great one, that, because we can use them everywhere. Butterfly suplex by Eddie Edwards on Alexander. Koslov pulls him into the center ring. Going to go for the pin here. 1, 2, and Rocky Romero's in there quickly to break it. Of course, Rocky Romero, I only realised this the other day, and I don't know why, because I've been watching Lucha Underground. I'm a bit behind on my Lucha Underground, but Rocky Romero is actually working Lucha Underground as part of one of the crew, as Edwards has Koslov up and hits him with that boot to the face. Richards has Romero on the outside, and we saw this from Edwards yesterday in the Elimination Chamber. When he got a guy finished off, he doesn't seem to want to go for the pin, and it's cost him again here. If he'd gone for a pin last night in some of the situations, it could be a completely different person as champion here this evening, and Davey Richards was in quickly enough to break that submission hold, the crossface chicken wing, and now the Hooligans working together here on Eddie Edwards. Koslov holding back Edwards as Rocky Romero just getting some free punches into the stomach. And Davey Richards has jumped off the apron to get a bit of Rocky Romero just when Eddie Edwards needed him, really. Now Koslov with that tornado DDT. Romero and Richards still fighting on the outside, and finally Richards is back up on the apron, and a bit of miscommunication there by the Wolves. As Edwards locks in this abdominal stretch, and that's it, Koslov has tapped. Alexander Koslov tapped before Rocky Romero could get there to break the submission, and the American Wolves are going into the next round here this evening. And not only that, they are guaranteed a Tag Team Championship tomorrow night against the winners of the next match, with the current Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions, the Briscoes, and of course the Addiction, Christopher Daniels and Kazerian. And it was looking like it was going to start going the way of the Hooligans. There was a little bit of miscommunication by the American Wolves, and as you see here, as Rocky Romero slides in the ring and starts to make his way across to try and break the submission, Koslov was already tapping, taking a lot of damage in this match. Obviously to the abdomen and the chest, which is the pain was just too much for Koslov to hold. And the American Wolves victorious here. Davey Richards, Eddie Edwards. Great win for them, and the momentum from Davey and from last night has definitely been carried forward here this evening. Can they continue that momentum into tomorrow night? And here we go with our final first round match of this DDT4 competition. And of course this match is also for the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championship. We have the Briscoe brothers here defending against Bad Influence, knowing whoever wins this match is going to have to go on and defend the belts tomorrow night against the American Wolves, Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards. And we've seen Bad Influence have a couple of opportunities at the Tag Team Championships recently, not managed to come out on top at any occasion so far. As Mark Briscoe with the backdrop on Daniels early on in the match on the apron. Tries to follow it up, but Daniels catches him with a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. And now all hell is breaking loose. Well, it looked like it was going to break loose anyway, as Kazerian and Jay Briscoe look to back off now. Maybe not. Jay Briscoe catches Daniels on the outside. Daniels with a couple of back elbows now. Mark Briscoe makes his way back outside. Jay throws Daniels back into the ring. And Mark slides back in to follow it up. Of course, the Briscoe brothers won these belts a few weeks back, defeating the long-term champions, the Kings of Wrestling, Cesaro and Chris Hero. Of course, Cesaro since then has moved to the current day roster, so Kings of Wrestling were not put into this competition. I was tempted with a couple of other teams here and there, but I held off. I was thinking of using some teams such as just a few ones that I could just make up, sort of like Chris Hero and Biff Busick, who are two very similar style wrestlers. Or Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano, of course, were wrestling together in the WWE at the moment in that Dusty Rhodes Invitational Tag Team Tournament. And then we could have had Chuck Taylor wrestling alongside Trent as part of the Best Friends, who have actually won this competition last year. Trent and Chuck Taylor in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. As Mark Briscoe, and the Briscoes have really dominated this match as of yet. And there's a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker again by Christopher Daniels. And he comes across and brings in his partner Kazerian. And Kazerian could not quite stop Mark Briscoe from making the tag. And Jay just takes Kazerian out. Kazerian drops Jay flat on his face though in the ring. And of course the Briscoes are desperate to keep a hold of these Tag Team Championships, but they know to do that they're going to have to win this DDT4 tournament, and they're perfectly capable. You would imagine that they have to walk into this competition as the outright favourites, as you would do. If you're walking in the Tag Team Champions, then you are technically the best tag team in the world. But can they prove that over the next 3 days? We saw some great tag teams yesterday, and of course some more great teams this evening. I can give you a quick update of the matches we've got planned in for tomorrow night now for round 2. We're going to start things off with the Unbreakable Machines, Brian Cage and Michael Elgin taking on the Kingdom, Matt Taven and Mike Bennett. Then we'll have the Killer Elite Squad, Davey Boy Smith Jr. and Lance Archer taking on the South African Pride, Justin Gabriel and Angelico. Then we'll see reDragon, Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly take on Sami Callihan and Drake Younger. And then, of course, the American Wolves, Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards, will take on the winners of this match. And the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships will be on the line once again. Got nothing else planned in for you at the moment so far for tomorrow. We've got 3 matches clear, so I'm sure I'll knock up some great ones for you. Maybe get Davey Richards. No, he can't. I was going to say Davey Richards to defend his Ring of Honor Television Championship. Of course, Davey Richards still be part of this competition, so I'm sure we'll find some great matches for you. Maybe I might be able to do my Fatal 4-Way Elimination match I want to do with Tommaso Ciampa, Chris Hero, Biff Busick, and it was going to be Brian Cage, but obviously Brian Cage is tied up in the competition as well, so maybe Wuhan Nation could step in, and that'd be a great Fatal 4-Way match, I think, that one. But of course, you'll have to tune in tomorrow night to see exactly what matches we get in for you. And that's a great clothesline there by Kazerian. Of course, as this competition continues, we have more and more guys being freed up as they get knocked out. Of course, Fenix and Pentagon. Maybe we could have Lucha 4-Way. Fenix, Pentagon, Kalisto, Mistico. That could be a great match as well. I'm really liking these Fatal 4-Ways at the moment. I really am. Of course, we still have some matches set for you this evening. We've got next, we're going to see Roderick Strong taking on Tommaso Ciampa one-on-one. After that, we will see a 6-man elimination tag match as a new House of Pain stable suggested by Jay a few weeks back of Jay Lethal, Brian Cage and Michael Elgin will take on CNC Wrestle Factory, Caprice, Coleman, Cedric Alexander and ACH. And of course, don't forget our big main event this evening. Samoa Joe will defend his Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship against Alberto Del Rio. Or El Patron, if you will. Whichever way you want to call him now. Depends, I suppose. If you watch Ring of Honor, then you'll know him as El Patron. Or obviously Lucha Underground or AAA. Or if you watch anything where Del Rio's in now, you call him El Patron. If you don't, then you probably still remember as Del Rio. I'll get confused. If you watch last night's episode, you'll see that I kept calling Matt Sydal Evan Bourne every 2 minutes. All these name changes just confused me after a while. Daniels fights her back up to his feet and catches Jay Briscoe. Couple of axe handles and then a tilt-a-whirl power slam. Jay Briscoe looked down and out there, but Daniels, instead of going for the pin, he brings Jay up, and what's he going for here? It's like a reverse Death Valley driver. Kazerian takes Mark Briscoe off the apron. Can we have new tag champions here? We do. The Addiction, Kazerian and Christopher Daniels have knocked the Briscoe brothers out and taken the tag team championships in the process. And this is a surprise hit. It's also the quickest match I think we've had so far in this first round. Both teams had great opportunities to win this match, but it was eventually Daniels here with the reverse Death Valley driver landing Jay Briscoe face first and getting the pinfall victory. And Bad Influence, they'll be happy to pick up these tag team championships. However, of course, it might only be held for one day as they have to defend them tomorrow night now against the American Wolves in the second round. Very, very interesting here. And the Briscoe brothers have not managed to keep a hold of these belts for as long as they wanted to. They only won them a few weeks back off the Kings of Wrestling. And now they've already dropped them here in this DDT4 tournament in the first round as well. As I said, as the tag team championships, as the tag team champions, it's supposed to be the favourites for this competition. But they've been knocked out in the very, very first round. And here we go with our next match of the evening. It's Roderick Strong and Tommaso Ciampa. First match of the weekend here for Ciampa. And he's been champing at the bit to get in the ring. Roderick Strong, of course, was involved in that Elimination Chamber match last night. Was one of the first few eliminated, if I remember correctly, or was he? I can't remember now. I can't remember, but either way, he can't be at 100% here this evening. Facing off here against Ciampa. Ciampa is a very intelligent guy in the ring, so he'll spot any weaknesses if Roderick Strong has them, and he'll work on them, work the man down. Ciampa now just using his strength there to pick Strong up and drop him down, almost like a slam. And Ciampa comes back there with a running neck breaker on Strong. Ciampa now is you can see taking some control of this match, but as I say, that Strong hits him with a neck breaker. That's not a neck breaker, that's a bulldog. So I'm getting confused because I've got my laptop in front of me and I'm watching the telly at the same time. I have to watch the telly because the telly's up to date. The laptop is about 2 or 3 seconds behind. So if I commentate on the laptop, all my commentary is going to be behind, if that makes sense. Yeah. No? Yeah. Yeah, that's right, yeah. For some reason I keep flicking back from each one. I keep missing the odd move. There's a shoulder block there by Roderick Strong. And Roderick Strong at the moment is probably having the year of his life in wrestling. Done fantastically well with Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. Not only has he won the championship there, he's become probably one of the top heels in the company. Obviously himself and the Young Bucks and Super Dragon have reformed the Matt Rushmore stable, which really is probably one of the hottest things there at the moment. They had a few great matches again at the Battle of Los Angeles pay-per-view, which happened a few weeks back now. So as I keep plugging them, it's definitely worth a watch. And as I've said in the past, if you search for Pro Wrestling Guerrilla on YouTube, of course after you've watched the rest of this video, if you search for Pro Wrestling Guerrilla on YouTube, you'll find their YouTube account, and they put up a 5 or 6 minute video from all their events, just showing you basically the highlights. They try and not give you any spoilers, but at the same time they show you like some of the top moves of the match, and they're absolutely cracking little videos to watch. They really are. So get over there and check those out for the Battle of Los Angeles. They've only uploaded the first 2 days so far. I think they're trying to make everyone wait for the 3rd day, because I think they released day 1 and day 2 last week within a day of each other. Now day 3 is still not being uploaded. I already know who wins the Battle of Los Angeles competition, because I'm so impatient that I could not wait for the DVD to come out. So I already know who wins, but it's still going to be a show I definitely want to watch. Roderick Strong there with a great power slam. I'm not even sure Roderick Strong actually defended he must have defended the Pro Wrestling Guerrilla Championship at some point over the weekend. I'm not even sure. See, I've watched them videos and I've read the results, and I honestly can't remember. I know Roderick Strong was part of a 6-man tag match on night 1, I think, alongside the Young Bucks to take on some of the British guys. I think it was Tommy End, Marty Skull, and Zack Sabre Jr., I believe it was. But yeah, I definitely suggest you check that out after this video. Well, after you've watched all my 150 videos, then check out Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. That sounds like a wise idea for me. Big clothesline there by Tommaso Ciampa, but continues his grip and brings Strong back up to his feet and catches him with another great lariat, which turns Strong inside out. Tommaso Ciampa fighting Strong away there. Strong tried to grab a hold of the mohawk of Ciampa, and Ciampa is signaling for something here. What's he got planned? He takes Roderick Strong up. He's got him in the powerbomb. Onto the knees. And Tommaso Ciampa here pulls Strong away from the rope, so he can't get a rope break. Going for the pin. 1, 2, and no. So close to a free count there. And I've mentioned this before in some of my videos. I know the game is designed obviously to hit your finishing maneuver and then try and pull the guy away from the rope so he doesn't get a rope break. But what I think they should do is probably have more intelligence to bring the guy into the middle of the ring before they hit their finishing maneuver, because a lot of matches like this one are not won because of the extra time it took to pull the guy across the ring. If he'd pinned him straight away, then he may have got the free count there. But either way, it looks like Ciampa's going to have to continue working Roderick Strong down and take him up to the top rope here. This could be an interesting one. Strong. Oh, Strong went for the crossbody, but Ciampa caught him in that backbreaker. And now Ciampa with a headbutt to the floor, and that was a great move that I've never seen anyone catch anyone off the top rope when it's not into a finisher. I've seen him do it for obviously I think we saw Cedric Alexander do one on night 1 as he caught the guy into like a GTS. But I've never seen anyone catch anyone like that that's not a finishing maneuver. That's an interesting one, that. Ciampa catches Roderick Strong in that drop toe hold, and Ciampa's been doing a great job here I think he's almost dominated this match against Roderick Strong, who you'd have to put down as a favourite beforehand. However, this match is not over, and it doesn't matter if you've dominated or not. The winner is going to go be the guy who gets the free count. A match can change in a matter of seconds. As Roderick Strong locks in the stronghold, that Boston Crab. Tommaso Ciampa trying to fight out and again use his strength eventually. And that's one thing that I'd like him to do on 2K16. I don't think anyone should ever break a submission hold of their own choice. And there's the powerbomb onto the knees again by Ciampa, and surely this time 1, 2, and 3. Tommaso Ciampa victorious here over Roderick Strong. Great win for Ciampa, and I was going to say might that put him in a prime position for a television championship shot, but it's going to depend on Davey Richards now. Should the American Wolves make it through tomorrow night and get into the final night, then obviously Dave Richards is going to be tied up with that competition. And there's a possibility he could be working twice on night 4 if they win the semis. So we shouldn't put him in a TV title shot as well. Of course, the Tag Team Championships, the Television Championship could always be defended on Ring of Honor television the next few weeks. But after that big win for Ciampa, I'm thinking he might be in prime position for a shot. Of course, we are going to see Ciampa again tomorrow night. As I mentioned, that fatal 4-way match. Still trying to get it exact, I think. But it looks like it's going to be Ciampa, Busick, Hero, and Uhaa Nation, I'm thinking. But again, tune in tomorrow to see what we go with finally. But a great win here for Ciampa. Looked like it was going to be Ciampa all the way. And he manages to get the 3 count as well. Not been a great weekend for Roderick Strong so far. Loses in the Television Championship elimination match. And now loses here to Tommaso Ciampa as well. And here we go. And this is the new stable here that Jay suggested in the comment section a couple of weeks ago. It is the House of Truth. Jay Lethal and the Unbreakable Machines. And Roderick Strong is also going to be part of this stable as well. So be sure to keep an eye out for that. Jay Lethal will be desperate to try and get his television championship back as well at some point. Depending on what happens with the DDT4 competition tomorrow, you never know. Jay Lethal may be able to get himself a rematch on night number 4 should Davey Richards be knocked out of the competition. This match here is going to be a 6-man elimination tag as well. We of course, just to recap, you've got Jay Lethal, Brian Cage and Michael Elgin. And then also got Cedric Alexander in the ring at the moment alongside Caprice, Coleman and ACH. Sort of a very loose rematch from yesterday as well when the Unbreakable Machines defeated Alexander and Coleman to get through to round number 2 of the DDT4 tournament. So they'll have something to prove here this evening against the Machines. And of course, the Machines will be looking for a victory here to try and build more momentum going into that match tomorrow night when they will face off against, I've forgotten already, Kingdom in the first match of tomorrow night. So be sure to check that one out. It will be uploaded tomorrow. As Michael Elgin makes his way into the ring, and Elgin and Lethal there with a double flapjack. Alexander fights Elgin away and hits a beautiful dropkick. And it's been a bad weekend so far for ACH as well. He's only had 1 match so far, and that was the best 2 out of 3 falls match against Matt Sydal on night number 1. Of course, he lost that by 2 falls to 0, and it's been a bad weekend as well for CNC Wrestle Factory, Coleman and Cedric Alexander, as they were knocked out in round number 1, in match number 1 of this DDT4 tournament. So they'll be looking to try and rebuild themselves here. A moral victory, if anything. A consolation prize. Of course, this means nothing to nothing in the grand scheme of things, but it's just building momentum for either side. As Caprice Coleman, remember Caprice Coleman did win the Combat Zone Wrestling's Best of the Best competition a few weeks back, and he is now guaranteed a shot at Dean Ambrose for that Combat Zone Wrestling Heavyweight Championship, and that will be in the next couple of weeks. So be sure to keep an eye out for that. You can check out the Combat Zone Wrestling playlist by checking out the description below. You will find a link to all the playlists. Of course, we upload a video every single day at the moment, or in the case of these pay-per-views, we're uploading 2 videos at the moment a day. On Mondays, we upload WWE Current Day Roster. On Tuesdays, we upload Global Force Wrestling. Wednesdays is Ring of Honor. Thursdays is the Retro Roster. Fridays is the Attitude Era. And Saturdays is Combat Zone Wrestling. And of course, Sundays will be the pay-per-views. Or in the case of this month, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays and Sundays are the pay-per-views for Ring of Honor. Or if you think this is a long pay-per-view, you wait a couple of weeks' time for Global Force Wrestling, when Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday and Saturday and Sunday are pay-per-view days. That's going to be a lot of work for me to sort that one out, but it's going to be worth it in the end. Of course, for Global Force Wrestling in a few weeks' time, we are going to have the G1 Climax Festival. Essentially a bit like the Champions League in football. We're going to have, or if you're American, soccer, you're going to have the basically group stages. There's going to be 4 groups of 4 guys, each person faces off against each other once. You get points for a win, of course. The people with the highest amount of points go through top of each group. We're going to have a semi-finals and a final. So it's going to be an interesting competition. We're going to have the best guys on that one, including the global champion Kazuchika Okada. We're going to have guys like Tanahashi, Nakamura, Rey Mysterio, Alberto Del Rio, Zack Sabre Jr. We may even borrow a couple of guys from Ring of Honor as well, just to try and give it a bit more of an international feel. Of course, also got some American guys in there, such as AJ Styles as well, and maybe even Michael Elgin. Undecided yet of the full brackets. But of course, the winner of that is going to have a lot of prestige put on them. And if it's not Okada that wins, you would imagine the winner of that competition should be guaranteed a shot at the Global Championship in the near future as well. So be sure to check that one out. As I said, that'll be uploaded in the next couple of weeks. Next weekend, we've got for you the Attitude Era pay-per-view, which is Judgment Day, and it's the week after that. So essentially, the day after Judgment Day, we'll upload our first night of that pay-per-view. So that's going to be, as I said, a very, very, very busy time for me. Hopefully, I'll be able to stay on top. I might be a little bit behind since I'm at a wedding next week, so I might be a little bit behind. But I will get everything uploaded by the end of the week. I promise. These videos take a lot longer to make than you'd think they do. If you think we've still got one more match tonight, and I'm already at an hour and a half on this video. Of course you're not, because I would have cut out a lot of the gibberish in between. Obviously, because the Universe Mode only lets you set up one pay-per-view and run one pay-per-view, I'm having to do the extra nights as exhibitions and just cut it all together to make it seem flawless for you. So yeah, it takes a long time, especially for some reason, and this is really annoying, for some reason if you set up a tag team in the Universe Mode, it doesn't copy into exhibition. So whereas in Universe Mode, if I select Alexander, it'll bring in Coleman and ACH automatically. On this, I had to individually select each one, which is frustrating. As ACH building some momentum there, big clothesline. Remember, this is an elimination match, and we've still had no eliminations as of yet. But ACH takes Brian Cage down, and Coleman and Alexander are in, and could Brian Cage be the first eliminated here? No, it's only a 2 count. Brian Cage fighting out of that one, and of course, as I've mentioned yesterday, Brian Cage is the current Global Force Wrestling Intercontinental Champion, so he's had a great first couple of months in this Universe Mode. Of course, made his debut at the last Global Force Wrestling pay-per-view, which was the Best of the Super Juniors, it was. As ACH showing off a bit on the outside, and Brian Cage catches Caprice Coleman. Referee's lost control of this match a little bit now. Looks like he's starting to regain a little bit here as Brian Cage and Caprice Coleman. Oh no, Caprice Coleman's not the legal man. ACH is, and ACH catches Cage again with another clothesline. And I've done 2 of these videos so far this evening, and my throat is killing me now. I must be talking. I don't know. I don't normally get a sore throat when I talk. I suppose when you make these videos, you've got to make yourself sound a lot more interesting than you actually are. Really, I normally talk just like this. So yeah, it does take it out on your throat a little bit. Only a 1 count there by Coleman on Brian Cage. And this is going to be an incredibly long 6-man elimination tag match, considering not a single person's been eliminated as yet. That first elimination is always the hardest one when you've got so many guys there that can break the pins. Alexander catches Brian Cage there and gives Coleman a chance to take advantage. And now Coleman locking in a camel clutch, and the first elimination here as Michael Elgin, and Jay Lethal ran into each other when they were trying to break the pin. But eventually Lethal got there. Brian Cage and Coleman fighting again, and surely eventually one of these 6 guys are going to get eliminated. Coleman with a great German suplex on the much bigger guy, and just walks straight into the straight to the Lions. Don't know why he went all the way over there. Michael Elgin catches him. Brian Cage with the chop across the chest, and now Cage brings Michael Elgin into the match, and the hot tag, and Elgin takes out the first man, and Elgin doesn't take out the second. Cedric Alexander Pings him pings him across that top rope. Michael Elgin with a drop toe hold, and Elgin making his way up to the top rope of the CNC corner. And that was a stupid idea, that was, as ACH and Cedric Alexander just push Elgin down. Coleman going for the pin. Only for a 1 count. Elgin straight out. And now Elgin with that German suplex on Coleman just launches him halfway across the ring. And now it's Elgin signaling for here. Oh, Lethal looked like he was going to try and take ACH off the apron. Again, this is all just broken down on the outside. Northern-like suplex for Coleman. 1, 2... And Brian Cage was there to break the pin. It looked like that was going to be all for Michael Elgin. Elgin there with a Saito suplex. Going for a pin. 1. Only a 1 count. And you can see how much these guys are just desperately, as I said, the machines are desperate to keep building momentum for tomorrow night. Oh, and there's the backdrop into the knees by Coleman. Alexander takes Cage off the apron. Now slides outside. Could Coleman eliminate Elgin here? No, Jay Lethal sneaks in and breaks up the pin. Coleman again. Did some very good work here on Michael Elgin. You'd expect Elgin to be the favourite of the two, but Coleman's done a fantastic job to wear him down. Of course, Coleman is the #1 contender for the Combat Zone Wrestling Heavyweight Championship, so I'm not surprised he's doing so well, I suppose. He's built his momentum up over the last few months. And that seems to be what this game is all about. It's all about the momentum. As Coleman just pulls Elgin straight into that neckbreaker. 1, 2. And again, Jay Lethal just there in time on the stroke of 2 to break that pinfall. Alexander just launches Lethal over that top rope, and Michael Elgin trying to break loose to bring in Brian Cage, but Coleman has him. And again, onto the knees, but Brian Cage takes out ACH, who came across the ring to try and break it up. Coleman with a pin again. 1, and Brian Cage is there. And I think when ACH came across the ring there, I think he went straight over the top rope. And I think he actually landed on the ring steps there that had been dislodged earlier on. Coleman now hit his finisher twice on Michael Elgin. And he looks like he was going to try and bring in Alexander. And now he finally gets a chance. And Alexander misses the hot tag. And they've got to fix that as well. Hot tags in the 6-man tags don't seem to work, as Alexander locks in the submission. I think Brian Cage and Jay Lethal got there just in time to break it. Elgin looked like he might be tapping out there, and Elgin finally managed to get out this ring and brings the former television champion Jay Lethal into the match. Of course, Jay Lethal lost his belt yesterday night at the night 1 of the DDT4 tournament. Was part of that 6-man elimination chamber match, which is, the odds were really against him. He was the 6th entrant into that match, however, the odds were against him, against the American Wolves, Austin Aries, Roderick Strong and Adam Cole. Of course, it was eventually, as we mentioned earlier, Davey Richards who walked out with the championship. Last 2 guys being Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards. Jay Lethal stringing together a great combination there, but Cedric Alexander straight back up to his feet, and now Lethal catches him there with a neck breaker. Brings him back up to his feet again. Now Lethal has him up on his shoulders. Elgin took Coleman off the apron, but not enough. He did not take ACH out of the equation, and ACH was in to break the pin. Jay Lethal now launching Alexander back into the House of Pain's corner. And now Lethal over the top rope with that, and over the top there with the head scissors, followed up by an elbow drop. And this is a hell of a match, this one. And imagine once the eliminations start coming, they're going to come in a flood. It's important here for the House of Truth to win their first match as a stable, you would think. However, the experience, the CNC, they've worked together in quite a few six-man tags now, CNC. So they'll be able to use some of that experience to try and come out on top of this match. I think individually you'd have to say the House of Truth team is the strongest. However, as a cohesive, organised unit, CNC definitely have the experience edge. Knee to the stomach by Lethal. But Alexander catches Lethal, throws him back into the CNC corner. And tags in ACH. Drop toe hold into the elbow drop to the back of the head. ACH rolls Lethal over for the pin. 1, 2. Only a 2 count. He kicked out. I think Coleman did a great job of blocking both the machines off there. But luckily Lethal was still cohesive enough to kick out. I'm starting to think it might take a submission to finally eliminate one of these guys. Lethal back up to his feet. Big overhand punch. And there's that backdrop. I'm still unsure with that backdrop what the point of the backflip is first. It's just to look posh, I think, isn't it? There's no. I don't mind a backflip, but I like it to actually be worth something. The whole phrase, isn't it? There's no wasted movement in the ring. Oh, great standing corkscrew splash there by ACH. Now ACH locking in a chicken wing. And Brian Cage finally gets ACH to break the hold. And Michael Elgin just launches the referee out of the ring. Obviously not happy with something. And Michael Elgin just goes back crap crazy on the referee. Surprised the referee hasn't actually DQ'd him for that, or has he? I can't see Elgin. Has Elgin been DQ'd? He might have been, you know. You know what? I think Elgin may have actually been. Elgin was unhappy with something the referee had done there, and it looks like he's been disqualified. Dragon suplex, sorry, on ACH by Jay Lethal, and yeah, Michael Elgin's been disqualified for attacking the referee. Brian Cage for a crunchy. Sorry, Jay Lethal for the crunchy. And that's enough. Brian Cage blocks off Alexander and Coleman, and we are down to 4 here. Jay Lethal jumps straight on top of Alexander, hoping to get the quick pinfall. It wasn't enough. Dragon screw there by Alexander. And I'm still just confused by what led Michael Elgin to attack the referee and get himself disqualified in this match here this evening. I've just noticed the announce table's crushed as well. Didn't see that happen. That must have happened out of shot earlier on. Quick roll up by Alexander, but right in front of Jay Lethal. There's no way that's gonna last. Jay Lethal in and breaks the pin. Standing kick there by Alexander, and you've got to think that Elgin's let his teammates down this evening. Even if they pick up the victory, they can't be happy with Elgin. Cage with a pin after the lariat, only a 2 count. And of course, remember, we still have a Ring of Honor Championship match here for this evening, as Samoa Joe will defend against Alberto El Patron, or Del Rio. And looks like them punches by Brian Cage have finally had an effect on Cedric Alexander. I see blood on the mat. I can only imagine that's coming from Alexander. Yes, it is. You can see there for that angle. But Alexander with a quick roll up on Brian Cage. 2. Only a 2 count. That could have been a cheeky one there by Alexander, who has Cage up on his shoulders. There's the GTS. Going for the pin again. 1, 2. And it's a free. It's a free. Jay Lethal did not get there in time. We are down to a 2-on-1 situation now. Jay Lethal versus Alexander and Coleman. Springboard splash by Lethal. Brings Alexander back up to his feet. Dragon suplex into the pin. 1, 2. Oh, and Coleman is across quickly to break that up. He doesn't want to lose the advantage. And Jay Lethal picks Alexander straight back up into a crunchy. 1, 2. And again, Coleman is across incredibly quickly and breaks that pin. You've got to think that Alexander's just running on fumes here at the moment now. He's been busted open. He's been hit by 2 huge moves by Jay Lethal, who went for the springboard splash and misses. And Alexander tags out, probably the best thing for them. And now in comes Caprice, Coleman. Jay Lethal there, a great Lucha Libre style arm drag, followed up by that discus elbow. And now an elbow drop as well to Coleman. Brings Coleman back up to his feet. Fisherman suplex, bridge in the pin. 1, 2. And Alexander breaks it. Jay Lethal with a big clothesline. And now got too close to Alexander. Alexander grabs a hold of Lethal, giving Coleman a chance to make his way back to his feet, which he does. And there's a big knee to the stomach now by Coleman. And surely it's only a matter of time. Lethal cannot last too long here in this 2-on-1 situation against Coleman and Alexander. Lethal going to go for the pin here, desperate to try and get himself an elimination. Only a 1. Coleman with a drop toe hold on Jay Lethal. Rolls him over for the pin. Of course, nobody to try and help Lethal now. Michael Elgin got himself eliminated by attacking the referee. And Brian Cage was eliminated just a few minutes ago by pinfall. Coleman brings Jay Lethal back up to his feet, and Lethal still fighting with all he's got. Snap suplex by Lethal. Over the top he goes. There's the splash. Pulls Coleman centering. He's probably going to go for the pin there. There's going to be no rope break, I don't think. 1, 2. And Alexander's across the ring quickly. Don't think the referee's too happy with Alexander, because I think Alexander caught a bit of the referee while making that save. Belly to back slam by Lethal. Rolls Coleman over again. 1, 2. Only a 2 count. And I'm pretty impressed with Lethal here. After being dropped down to just being on his own. Locks in the submission on Coleman. And Alexander's there again to break it up. And Alexander and Coleman doing a fantastic job here of saving each other when they're in the bad situations. Lethal again with a pin on Coleman. Again, only a 2 count. You think it's going to take one more big move to finish this match off for Coleman and Alexander. It's going to take a bit more than that for Jay Lethal, of course. Brings Coleman back up to his feet and he catches him in the Dragon suplex pin. 1, 2. And again, Alexander's in nice and quickly and breaks the pin. Coleman twists the arm, spins Lethal around, has him up in the air. Onto the knees, and that has got to be all now. Rolls Lethal over. 1, 2, and 3. CNC Wrestle Factory, ACH, Cedric Alexander, Caprice Coleman victorious here over the newly formed House of Pain. It's a bit of retribution here for CNC Wrestle Factory after losing to the Unbreakable Machines in round number 1 of the DDT4 tournament last night. Now they have some retribution. It's been a terrible weekend for Jay Lethal. Loses his Ring of Honor Television Championship last night, and now tonight losing in the debut match of the House of Pain formation. I'm sure this is not the last we've heard of House of Pain. I'm sure they'll be back even stronger. Cedric Alexander, a real trooper, being hit with a couple of finishing maneuvers by quite a few guys. Also busted open a good few minutes ago and still managed to continue this match. And obviously did a great job of saving Caprice Coleman when Jay Lethal looked to try and even up the numbers in this match. So a great win here for CNC Wrestle Factory. And of course, don't leave us now, because our next match is going to be our Ring of Honor Heavyweight Championship match as Samoa Joe defends against Alberto Del Rio. The following contest is scheduled for one fall, and it is for the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship. And here we go with our final match, our main event here this evening. Of course, the winner of this match will have to defend this belt again in 2 days' time at night number 4 of this pay-per-view against Daniel Bryan. I've got a feeling Daniel Bryan might be hoping Samoa Joe keeps the belt here this evening, since Bryan has defeated Joe a couple of times in the last few weeks. And he knows he's probably in Joe's head. And of course, for Bryan, it's probably better the devil you know than the devil you don't. Del Rio has been on the cusp of these sort of opportunities for a while now. Never really got one. But after a great victory last night against Kyle O'Reilly, I sort of decided there on the spot that he would get the opportunity here this evening. We wanted Samoa Joe to defend the belt a couple of times this weekend. He's not defended it. I think he's only defended it once since he won it. So this is just to try and get his title defenses up a little bit. Of course, this was also something that Jay suggested a couple of days ago. He said about Del Rio being involved in a title picture somewhere, and after that big victory yesterday against Kyle O'Reilly, and of course Davey Richards winning the TV Championship last night, it just seemed clear to me that Del Rio was destined for this match. Battle of the submissions as well. Of course, Joe uses the Kalina. I can't say it. The Kalina clutch. Joe uses the rear naked chokehold as a finishing maneuver, and of course Del Rio uses that armbar. Of course, Joe does also have the muscle buster at his disposal should he need it. But it's going to be a very interesting match, this one. The first time these two guys have actually met in the ring. Probably the first time in real life they've met in the ring as well, because I think Del Rio left WWE, and I think it was only a few months afterwards that Joe joined WWE. So these guys have probably never met in the ring before. Very different styles. They're probably... Did they overlap a little bit in Ring of Honor, maybe? I'm not sure. Answers on a postcard to that one. I'm pretty sure these two guys have never faced each other IRL in gaming terms. Del Rio brings Joe down to the outside the hard way and catches him with that running neckbreaker as well. Joe throws Del Rio into the ring. And there's the elbow across the face. Joe, of course, won the Ring of Honor Heavyweight Championship in the very first pay-per-view, which was week number 1 of month number 1. We did the Glory by Honor pay-per-view straight away as we started this universe mode. It was an interesting one because Kevin Owens went into the pay-per-view with the Ring of Honor Championship, lost the belt in a fatal 4-way elimination match. No, he never. He lost the belt in just a 4-way match, it was. As Samoa Joe pinned Sami Zayn. That's what led to the big feud between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens blamed Zayn for losing his World Heavyweight Championship. Never actually got a rematch. But of course, Owens has left now and moved back on to WWE's current day roster. Which I think is a good thing, because I think this, when I first started this universe mode, the Ring of Honor roster was just a bit too clogged up with top stars. So by releasing some of the guys out, like Kevin Owens, for example, and Cesaro, it's probably given chance to some of these other guys like Del Rio to get a shot at the championship. So gotta bear that in mind for next year. Not gonna, on 2K16, not gonna have too many big name guys in any of the rosters. Of course, the current day roster is a bit of a problem because we've got bloody 60 odd wrestlers built in. As Joe locks in the rear naked choke here on Del Rio. Is Del Rio gonna tap? Don't think so. No, Joe breaks the hold. Has he done enough damage here? This could be a very quick title defense if he has. One. Only a 1 count. And Joe must continue on his assault on Del Rio. Not quite done enough yet to make Del Rio submit. Joe with that belly to belly. Brings Del Rio back up to his feet. Del Rio twisting the arm of Joe. Now Joe twists it back and catches Del Rio with that shoulder block. Now Del Rio gets around the back of Joe and catches him with that quick German suplex. Joe, you see, feeling some pain from that one. And of course, Joe on next year's game will be on the NXT roster rather than Ring of Honor. So that, again, that clears another top name spot here in Ring of Honor. And should we need to, we can start to look back into history and bring in the likes of maybe an El Generico or a Kevin Steen. As Del Rio hits that running into Guri, the move that won in the match last night against Kyle O'Reilly. But Samoa Joe kicks out. Del Rio continues the assault, launching Joe into the corner, but Joe reverses and catches Del Rio with that running DDT, going in for the pin. 1, 2. Oh, so close to a 3 count. Joe nearly had this one there from that running DDT. And Del Rio now with a cross arm breaker on Joe. Joe's locked in his submission. Now Del Rio locking in his own. Joe fights through the pain and Del Rio breaks the hold. And Joe's back up to his feet already. Joe with a snapmare now. And this could have been quite a good submission match as well, really, couldn't it? Now there's Del Rio with a stamp to the arm of Samoa Joe, going in for the pin. 1. Only a 1 count. Joe's kicking out quickly here. Del Rio trying to build up some momentum. Joe with that big kick to the thigh of Del Rio. Now rolls him over in a punt to the back as well. Del Rio's back up to his feet though, and Joe went for the clothesline to the back, but Del Rio blocked it. And now Joe with a snapmare, now locking in another submission, just a knee in the centre of the back and wrenching back at the neck of Del Rio. Could this be all? And it is. Del Rio taps out, and Samoa Joe successfully retains his Ring of Honor Championship, and he will go on to night number 4 to defend it against Daniel Bryan. And the damage had been done throughout the match on Del Rio's back and shoulders by Samoa Joe, including locking in that rear naked chokehold. And it was enough to finally make Del Rio, or El Patron, tap out to this submission, which I was hoping, well, I was going to time my words correctly too. But here's the arm breaker by Del Rio, and then there's the submission there, just knee in the centre of the back, then just wrenching back in the neck. Very, very painful move. And Del Rio taps out. So Samoa Joe keeps a hold of his Ring of Honor Heavyweight Championship, and he will defend it in a couple of days' time against Daniel Bryan. There he is. I was going to worry that it crashed then. He will defend it in a couple of days' time against Daniel Bryan on night number 4, so be sure to check that out. But anyway, guys, that is the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I think it's going to be a much longer one than normal. Of course, that's night number 2 of the DDT4 tournament done. Check out tomorrow night, and we're going to have all the round 2 matches, and we will know who's going to be in the semi-finals. But yeah, if you want to like this video, that'd be absolutely fantastic. It helps me a lot, and of course, subscribing is 10 times better. I've been Shabby Gamer. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.